all is 10 toes down. Yeah. Look back at it, shawty, don't look down. Tattoo peeking through the see-through. Yeah. Body create a color I see.
All right, well, welcome everybody to the Offbeat Podcast, the podcast about music and everything in and around it. This is the B-sides. This is the little vinyl LP. We flipped it over, and now you're getting a special cut. A little sliver, a little slice of something fresh and different. We're jumping into the deep end. Once again, my name is Rick. Over here to my right, we have...
Xander.
Ooh, he flipped it on you.
Yeah.
Just flip the script.
We got Shannon here.
Oh, yes.
Shannon O.
Shannon O, that's right. Thank you. Shannon O-Face.
Gotcha.
Did you guys see the movie Office Space?
I have.
No.
Classic film. There's a guy towards the end of the movie where he's talking about showing a girl his O-face. And it's hilarious. Great movie if you haven't seen it, if you've worked in any kind of... All right, this is a movie recommendation real quick, right at the jump. If you're a youngin' and you haven't seen this movie, but you work in a cubicle type of vibe, you need to watch this movie.
I gotta watch it.
It's like a timeless piece of cinema of like, this is everybody. For real, for real. But yeah, man, damn, we weren't hot and heavy. That's something else. We were in deep waters during our last segment where Xander was really passionately describing the challenges of, objections or things that are like flags or deal breakers in relationships, reasons why people might stop seeing somebody else. And we all kind of agree that a lot of these barriers are kind of artificial. They're kind of human made. They're not real. They're just like a veneer of a problem. Would you say that's right? Just like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100% agree.
For me, and I was mostly a bystander in that last conversation. I really enjoyed just listening to you two go back and forth. I completely agree, and I would say in terms of the values of relationships and in terms of like what person A gives to person B and then person B gives to person A, right? It's like supposed to be some sort of like, you scratch my back, I scratch your back, right? But then there's all this other stuff that makes you, Shannon, and that makes you, Xander, that I can't and shouldn't try to control or change, right? Because you're an individual, right? And I think over time, relationships, you kind of merge into, you kind of develop similarities just because you're with the same person. Like that happens with anybody you spend time with. Kind of turn into that person a little bit. But the deep-rooted worldview challenges, I think, is the specific point we were trying to address in, is it possible for people who are intrinsically different to find a commonality and be in a committed relationship? Xander, you believe it's possible, but you believe the barriers are impossible to get over?
Yeah, so my belief is that you should look at the person for who they are, not for what exactly they believe in, like as far as religion is concerned.
So using Xander's thought process behind this, for you, you're all about if we have a legit connection, like you're open to it.
Yeah.
What happens if you find a legit connection and you find out she's a devout Satanist? Does it change your perspective, or are you still kind of just like, we can make this work?
Yeah,
and this is an extreme.
Sure, and that's fine because I went to the extreme too. So again, let's just say I am single, I am at some kind of get together. Hey, this is X, Y, and Z. Hey, this is Xander. I meet the girl, we're talking. She doesn't divulge that she's a Satanist, like you said. We're on a month talking and going out. We like each other. I was like, you know what? I really like your vibe. She likes mine. hey, by the way, I gotta tell you something. This is what I do in my personal time. I'm a Satanist. I blah, blah, blah. I'm just telling you me personally. If I'm at a point where I like this girl, I like where she's going, what you do in your personal time is you. Just like you said, if I'm a guy and I have a girlfriend who's like a hardcore gym person, if she understands that I am not a gym person, I have to understand that she's a gym person and I have to let her do her.
Fair.
That's me. And that doesn't mean that happens, because it doesn't. The moment you hear Satan, get away from me. And it's like, yo.
I'm trying to understand and I get what you're saying. So you're putting the genuine connection first.
Yeah.
At all costs.
Yeah. But before you keep going, because everybody has a like
a hard stop.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So let's just be clear.
But based on what you've been saying, you're kind of just like forget what Rick just says, like the society barriers that are set.
Mm-hmm.
Let's use the same scenario. You've been talking to this girl for a month, and she discloses that she was born a man.
Oh, we're talking whole different. Same
concept. No, it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
There's something I've been meaning to tell you, just haven't found the right time to tell you.
No, but realistically, it's the same thing. Because what you said, Rick, you said the way that society dictates. In this day and age, society is saying trans women don't have to disclose what they were born as.
I just said there's a barrier just now. My barrier is you have to be a female.
Okay.
So I just
Fair.
Okay, so that to me is beyond the barrier. So now you're lying to me because you didn't tell me you were a man and now you're a woman.
But
a month is left.
I'm just going based on what Rick said, what society norms is. That's technically what the society is saying, that trans people don't have to disclose. But
don't have to agree with it, but society.
That's what society is saying. Yeah. Whether you agree, whatever, that's not what we're talking about. So basically where Xander's standpoint is, there are some things that are hard no's, and some things, religion is just one that he doesn't, it's not a red flag for him. Where for a lot of people it is. Right. His red flag is a little different. Well, whatever. His red flag, everyone has different red flags. So his whole thing is religion. For you, you don't care about religion. And you respect someone else's religious views, but that's not a deal breaker for you.
Right, that's different. And it's not that I don't respect religion. And when it comes to religion and your sex, that to me is very like left and right field. The reason why is because if you come to me and we're getting to know each other and you let me know you are Christian, Muslim, whatever it is, I respect that, whatever you are. Just respect, that's who I am, cool. Yeah. If you come to me, we're speaking, hey, by the way, I used to be a man, that's not the same at all. That is, you have been lying to me, pretending to be somebody that you're not. Regardless of if you feel you're a woman or not.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, and we're gonna go there. We did. But
you know what though? It makes me upset that like even you saying stuff like that, I'm like, gee, because people get triggered so like people just have no skin. Everybody's like, you hurt me with your words. Like we're just talking. You know what I mean? We're just talking, but like people be like, oh my God, I can't believe
you can't get anywhere in life if you don't talk.
Facts.
Yeah, but it has to be honest talk.
Yeah.
So if, hey, I am this now, tell me that, not a month in. Oh, by the way, no, that's not honest. And you've been lying to me.
And I guess that's the nuance of like day and age, because like you said, like sex and religion are like left and right, where not really if you look at it from a lifestyle standpoint. So like the way the LGBTQ community, that's a lifestyle. The same way as people that are devout Muslims, Christians, that's a lifestyle. Yep. So whether you agree or they will not, that's not what I'm debating. But the standard is, or from what I hear, is that trans people shouldn't have to disclose what their birth sex or whatever is.
Yep.
Whatever, that's just what people are saying. So it's a weird spot, because if you look at it from like a lifestyle standpoint, it's pretty much the same thing.
I'm sorry. I can't agree with that. You have to play ball. If you now feel that you're this person, woman or man, you have to go along with the guidelines. I used to be a man, but I wasn't me.
But that's what I'm saying is
I can't have you say I don't have to disclose this. Bullshit.
I agree. Don't get that. I agree with you. But you just said you have to go by the guidelines. But I'm just saying what the guidelines are being set by the society norm. And the guideline is they don't have to disclose, which is I think it's wild. I think it's wild because you should be able to know what you're signing into, you know?
At a minimum.
No. The fact that we're discussing this is, to me, is completely ridiculous. At a minimum, it's not. No.
But that's what like the society.
Who's this? Okay, I get. I know what you're saying. It's not that.
Well,
I don't understand.
we live in an inclusion and diverse pushing society. So
Let
that
me know
falls
who you
into
are.
that.
That's all I'm saying. I understand. I don't have to disclose this. You don't have to, but if you're trying to get with somebody, you should.
Rick would be very salty if I was fleeced like that.
But it's not.
And I feel like if
It's not just Rick though. But I get it. Go ahead.
If I feel like I would know, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm a good judge of.
But even
you're
if you
a
don't,
dude.
how would you feel?
Have you ever watched the Maury show when they have the contest? That's crazy though.
But even if you don't though, how would you feel?
I really had. This is. Let me just take a breath. The way that our society is steering towards, like, I'm cool with team, everybody's cool. Totally fine. You're cool, you want to do what no problem. But like, there are certain things where I'm a hard no. And this is one of those hard no's, right? Like the fact that you brought up this point maybe 1 or 2 pods ago. I can't remember, where you were talking about the lady who identified as a black woman, who was a white woman, right? But we accept that people identify as non-binary, fluid, trans, like whatever. Fine, cool, no problem. So now we're just we're like writing the book as we go. Is what it really feels like.
That's what it is.
What do we do? What's the pronoun today? What's the correct uses today? Like we're laying the train tracks down as we're moving the train forward. Like it's really hard to be politically correct when every fucking 5 minutes, like the norm changes. And it's not okay to say that anymore. Sorry, Rick. And then I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Like it's so to the point about, a trans woman not disclosing before starting to see someone. I could see your point or the analogy where, you're a month into the relationship and somebody drops a bomb on you like, oh, by the way, I'm part of a cult. I'm into Scientology, right? Surprise. Versus, oh, by the way, I am a man, right? Shocking in different ways, shocking in different ways. One is a little bit more existential, I think.
But it's shocking, but it depends who you're talking to. That's shocking. So I think where for Xander, if someone says I'm a Scientologist, it's kind of just like we're vibing, and then the other one is like I was born, whatever. You're like, no. I think the Gen Zers. I think both of those will kind of just be like,
they see it so different than we do, man.
Because
really do.
The way we were raised,
yes.
Growing up, if someone said something wild, well, not wild, but if someone said I was born the opposite sex. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, ostracized.
It was so
Get outta here.
uncommon. It was so like, what is that? So I think it's just different for new kids. So that's why I bring it up. I bring it up that way because for every person, their cutoff is different. Whether it be religion, whether it be sex, whether it be politics. I know people that they stopped dating a person. She was a Republican. She stopped dating. She found out that the guy she was talking to was a Democrat.
Okay.
So it applies to all these hot button topics.
It does. Yes.
For Xander, is a little bit more potent because he lived it. He lived it. He lived in a you can't date this person because they're not Christian. So I understand where Xander's coming from. It's kind of like, forget all that. But the reality is everyone has that one hot button topic. I think it's a very small group of people that will be like, I'm open to everything and anything. If we're talking for a month and you could tell me that you like little kids, I'm still.
Yep. Eject right away.
So it's tough. It's tough. Everyone has that little.
Yeah.
For Xander, he has his hard stops, and that's fine. Everyone has their own hard stops. I think this new generation, their hard stops are a little bit more.
They're wider. Yeah.
They're
wide.
definitely wider. And again, like there's so many aspects of that are good and healthy, I think. And again, like, oh gosh, I don't like to do like the deep dives on the like Christian thing so much, but like when I think about my kids and their ability to be more accepting of people, that's like a net positive for society, right? It's better to be more accepting of people and humans because that brings us closer together. But I think what happened is we went too far. Everything is accepted. Nothing is like off the table, right? And so
That's huge. Yeah.
And so how do you correct from that? How do you come back when everything is okay? And that's hard. And I think, if we go back over the years, like, there might have been a little bit of a swing back and forth there. Generationally, like the 70s were kind of crazy. Let's talk about sexually transmitted diseases in the 70s, you guys.
Yeah.
Like they was rampant, and then people smartened up a little bit. The 90s, we did a little better, but still had our own issues or whatever. So I think the net positive is, yes, let's be accepting and let's love people enough so that they don't feel like they're different or a cast out, right? Like I'm not talking about like the super dark stuff, right? I'm not, because not even casting judgment, but it's just like, if you're doing stuff that's like really dark and twisted and like that, like you're hurting people, like that's different. I'm not talking about that, right? We're talking about like general good people who just, might look a certain type of way or behave a certain type of way. And that should be okay. You should be allowed to be an individual, but like also what are the boundaries, you guys? Mm-hmm. Where are they? Where we need to find them, I think, as a society, because there are none.
The boundaries have always been changing for forever. Like you mentioned, like back in the day, like if you were white and you dated a black guy, it's kind of like everyone was like, oh. So like, and then let's say 15, 20 years ago, if you came out as gay, it was like, oh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now it's all open. I was playing cards a couple weeks ago, and there was this young kid there. I think he was like in his early 20s. And the question came up, if you were out vibing with a chick and you guys are like about to hook up, she just tells you right before it's time, hey, I was born a man. He basically said, he was like, I'm at the point of no return. I'm like, and this is a guy that he's straight. Yeah. He doesn't like men. He was like, if I get to a certain point, I'm at the point of no return. I'm like, for me, no. Like, but he basically said, he was like, but that's his generation. Yeah. I'm like, hey man, whatever. I can't yuck your yum.
Yeah, again, whatever you want to do personally, there's nothing I can think, nothing I can say.
Yeah.
But when it comes to, if you're asking my opinion or we're talking, Everyone should have a limit, whatever that limit is.
Yeah.
It's
Agreed.
okay to have a limit. It's okay to say, no, I don't agree with that. It's okay to have an opinion. You don't have to be open-minded to everything. It's no. You can say, no, this is where I draw the line.
Yeah.
No, I don't do this. No, I don't deal with people who were man, not woman. I'm sorry. That's what you want to do. That's fine, but I don't deal with that.
Yeah.
It's okay to be open and direct and say, I don't like this. You don't have to be worried about if I say no, will they look at me different? No, you could be your person and say, this is where I draw the line. And this is the problem that I have, is that there's no lines drawn. It's just, let's do whatever the fuck we want to do. And it's like, that to me is a little concerning. Like
It's a little dangerous.
Yeah.
It's a little dangerous. And I think, you know, I think society at large, you know, a lot of the problems that we see, right? A lot of the mental health problems, you know, a lot of the rampant drug abuse problem that we have in this country is like out of control, right? So like
That heron, that H.
yeah. So when we talk about society at large, people at large, what is accepted, what is not accepted, what is okay, what is not okay, where are the boundaries, what are the lines? Like this is where, like really full circle here, having a construct or a quote unquote worldview to help guide you through life is useful to a lot of people, because it's like, here are my limits. I am safe within these boundaries. And for some people, that's much wider, a little hot and loose. But for some people, it's really tight and narrow. And the really tight and narrow people, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan at all. But like, there has to be a balance. You cannot be like all the way off the rails, but also you cannot be super duper try hard. Like, you have to learn to give a little bit, man. You have to be flexible, and you have to be willing to like, okay, I can ride the wave, but I'm not going to go all the way in, you know, on team like off the rails, or like all the way in on team. Don't talk to people who are not Christian, because you're going to be contaminated. What? I'm sorry. Christian is something I feel like I should just start using the term like religious. I feel like. I'm sorry, Shannon. Please.
I think the real takeaway for everybody is do you. And what I mean by that is, whatever your boundaries are, go by that. Don't let society tell you what you should accept. I'll use an example of when I got into photography. I was making really good money in my insurance job, and people were telling me, "Oh, don't leave that job. You're doing really well." If I would have listened to society, I still would have been a job that I hated. So what I like, do whatever your boundaries are, flow in that. Whether your cutoff is whatever your hard boundary is, that's you. That's your lifestyle. That's how you want to do it. If I was really into a girl and she was like, you know what, I just feel like you're not gonna be into the gym as much as I am. I'm like, you know what, I get it. Would I be bummed if I really digged her? Whatever. But what am I gonna do? Thank you for letting me know now.
That's what I've been saying this whole time. Is like you just said, what you do in your personal time should not matter if we're good. So, but I know where you're gonna get there already. So I get it that religion is a little more serious when it comes to that, other than gym and religion. I get it. But what I'm trying to get is that somebody's personal time or what they want to do that makes them feel happy, you should not be involved in that part. Because if you're there or not, that whatever that is gonna make them happy, whether you're there or not. So whether you agree with it or not should not be a reason for that person to do whatever that makes them happy. It was like, hey, this person like me doing this. Let me stop doing this because he doesn't like it.
No, that's not gonna happen.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if you're a Christian, you like praising God, you like going to Sunday school, you like going to Sunday church, and your person is not, that's fine. I like going. I'm gonna see you later on when I get out of church. And if you guys can have that relationship and be okay, that shouldn't be an issue.
That sounds great.
That sounds great.
That sounds
In
like
a perfect world, it'd be great.
scenario. Yeah.
I think realistically that doesn't happen though.
Also true.
That doesn't happen ever.
I know, but that's what I'm.
For any hot button item though, not limited to religion.
No, of course. You're right. I'm just speaking because, again, going back to because we grew up with. But my point being is that that part right there is that once we find something that is a hot button or something that's against what we'd like to do, we like to put a barrier. No, boom. No, we can't do this anymore. It's like, whoa, what happened? It's because of something that we don't necessarily agree with. And like you said, if you find out somebody that's perfect, but it doesn't do X, Y, and Z exactly like this, is that person really perfect? Yes, that person is really still perfect for you because you feel happy. But if he doesn't have exactly 100%, but she has 97% of everything you need, you're really gonna say, nah, fuck it, I'm good?
What if that's one, we're going back and forth here, but what if that one thing that makes him happy affects you?
Affects you. That's what I'm saying. That part right there, what you just said, if it affects you to the point you cannot be happy, then I get it. What I'm saying is, if you're happy with that person, but that 1 or 2% is not really, doesn't really, if you want to do this, go to the gym, go this, go that.
Anyone in the comments, comment if you're dating a person that has one of those those barriers that you're still happy. I don't think that's a very common
It's not.
situation.
I'm being very controversial and pushy.
That's very optimistic.
Yeah, because, and this is the reason why I'm being that way. Maybe it's because I am single and I have to be this way. Because I still am. And the reason why it came into this epiphany, if you want to call it that, we were chilling at your house.
We were.
And I'm the type of person when I'm around people that have experience, smarter, have a background to speak. I like to talk a lot when I'm with friends, with people that I can speak with. But when there's somebody speaking and has a point and it's getting to me, I shut up and I listen. Like, And that is not easy to do. No, I'm not saying that's not easy to do when you're speaking with somebody and that person is making sense into something you thought you already knew what made sense. I was like, wait, that's okay. You have to literally step back and listen to whatever that person has to say. And if you are open-minded, you can actually regurgitate all that stuff. I'm like, you know what? That actually does make sense. And going back to what we were talking about at the house, I noticed something about myself as speaking with just you. And it was that it doesn't matter who I meet, I'm gonna find something. But why? And that's the part when we're talking, I was like, why do I do that? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. And that's the part that I'm saying, it goes back to, probably I met people that are good for me, but I'm like, that, you're 99.9%, but at 0.1, and I make that more powerful than 99.9%.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to look at it from a standpoint of how important is that 1%?
Yeah,
or
of
that
course,
0.1%.
of course.
If we're talking, you don't like the way she dresses, that's just, you can work with that.
Mm-hmm.
If she's just dumb, that's a little hard to work. That's a little hard to work with.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It all depends on the person, because I've seen people when they be like, she's dumb. I can deal with it. She can blah blah blah. But some people be like, nah, yo, I can't deal with it.
That's not when I look at it, that's not a hard no for me. But if I realize that a girl that I'm talking to is dumb, I'm just like,
It changes the relationship a little bit.
Yeah,
because I mean that's a whole separate topic. But
and just to clarify, what I find dumb is I'm talking. Do not agree with me everything that I say. if you don't have a feedback, I don't really agree with that.
Yeah, that makes
if you
sense.
don't ever have that, I'm gonna be like, you're fucking dumb. Because listen, the reason why is because I'm the type of person that I say shit that's gonna get you saying, wait, whoa, I don't know about that. And the reason why is because I want to hear your point of view. What do you think? Tell me. Like, oh, okay. But don't be like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, no. Stop telling me I'm right. What is it that you believe in? Because it could be anything. It could be anything. And I'm going to have a controversial point of view because I want to listen to your point of view.
Yeah. So like my hard cut, the way I look at my hard cutoffs is eventually I would like to remarry. My hard cutoff, I like I said, I play chess. Like, can whatever the situation be, can it be an issue if not communicated, if not talked about? A couple episodes talk about no cunnilingus. If you find out early on that this person doesn't, that's a hard cutoff for you.
Definitely some red
There's
flags.
no conversation. So it's like you have to kind of take everything, all the information in, and then think about like, how important will this be in the entirety of this thing, not just past this infatuation phase. Shout out John Legend.
But back to you. It's to you.
To me,
Fuck society.
Yes.
Stop letting society dictate what you feel you should be doing. That's the point that I'm saying. It's like, what makes you happy? Find that and go for that. Not like, well, society says that I need to be with a Muslim or a Christian or what makes you happy. That's the point that I'm trying to get to, is that you need to find what makes you happy and go hard for that shit. Because if you go what society says, you're never gonna be happy. You're always gonna feel like you're happy, but then somebody was like, this doesn't make me happy.
You're always gonna be trying out things and it's gonna,
Because of society. But try what the fuck makes you happy. What you really find that makes you happy. That's the point that I'm trying to get at. That part.
I got some feedback.
Please.
What I would like to add to this wonderful discussion is the following. In Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, there's a scene. I'm not going to get into the deep part of it, but the question is asked, are you happy? And the person asking him the question was the one that got away. He's like, yeah, I'm happy. Well, like that, but there's like a lingering doubt there. And there's it's hard for me to unpack the entire thing. I don't want to do that right now, but the abridged version is the "Are you happy?" question it's very deeply rooted in a lot of different truths. And so the point about, and I think you're making a great point, Xander, because humans at large, we should be happy. We should feel fulfilled. We should feel satisfied with our lives and with our relationships. But at the same time, right, there's this discovery that happens, right? So when you're dating someone, however long you're dating this person, you're getting to know this individual, you know? And so I think over time, right, as you uncover things about this person, right, you're both uncovering things about the person that you may or may not like, but you're also getting to know the person at a deeper level at the same time. So you're learning more about the person that you may or may not like, but you're kind of also like Leonardo DiCaprio in Inception. As you go deeper into the dream, you're going deeper into his mind, right? So the crazy shit starting to pop off. And I feel like it's a really good analogy for us, right? Because the deeper you get with a person, the more real and safe you're allowed to be around this person, right? So you're not just going to share everything with everybody off the rip. If I deem you trustworthy of these gems that I want to share with you, then maybe I'll share them with you, right? So the part about deal breakers and whatnot, like, yes, those things are true and real for a lot of people, but there's also the parts about love in a relationship, if you get to that point with your partner, that is the infinity pool of acceptance, right? Because going back to your percentages, right? Maybe you're 99% compatible, but there's that 1%. The 1% can be easily compensated for by all this other wonderful stuff that you get to share with this person. And I think that is the crux of relationships, is figuring out, okay, we're cool, we're vibing, we got a nice thing going here, and there's some areas that we could always continue to work on because we're ever-changing people, right? And so let's double down on working together to figure that out versus... Because I like what you're saying, Xander. Like, I agree with you that a person should be allowed to do the things that make them happy. And you as a partner should accept that. You shouldn't fight against that unless it's physically harming you in some way, right? Or unless, you know, I don't know, you're just being... I don't know, like, there's a million ways to take advantage of a person. Mm-hmm. As long as you're not being taken advantage of by your partner doing what they love, it really shouldn't be a problem, and you, the partner, should be okay with that, right? You should be accepting of that in the same way that the partner should reciprocate. There's a lot of relationships, unfortunately, that shit is super lopsided, and that is the problem.
Yes.
Now, what's lopsided?
There's only one person willing to make the compromise.
Yes.
It's not always both parties.
Yeah.
And that right there, that to me is what makes a relationship work. Is if only one person willing to compromise, it's not gonna last, in my opinion. Yeah. You have to go, I'm gonna compromise, but just know you have to do the same. This is not a one-sided thing. If I'm gonna make some compromises for you, just know you have to do this for me too, for this to work, because it can't be just one-sided, because sooner or later, what you're saying, Shannon, then we're gonna have issues. Then that's when we're gonna start having issues. But if we can work like, yo, I get it, you do this, all right, cool, I get it, you do that. But if we come at the end and we're still, like, we make shit work, we are, like for example, what you just said, you start meeting somebody, you start getting to know, and you start getting to know this person, you like who this person is. Then you start finding out some other things that not necessarily has to do with who this person is. Mm-hmm. It's just extra stuff.
Sure.
Other stuff with religion, political, blah, blah. But I like who this person is. Shouldn't that be what the point is about you getting with somebody? I get you may have differences, and I don't agree with this, but you like who the person is. And that's what I'm trying to get at, is that takes a back seat sometimes, because I have to know what the extra stuff is first to then get to know you.
Yeah, and that is, of course, the conundrum, right? Because in, like, I unfortunately can't speak to dating culture currently today in 2022, but I think there's pros and cons to putting it all out there first, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get all the bullshit out of the way so that we're not wasting our time. I can appreciate that at a certain level, especially when you're further into life. I can appreciate that a lot. Right? Oh, how many kids do you have? Are you divorced? You were married? Oh, you've been married 7 times? Oh, red flags, right? So, like, there's different things that are like, okay, cool. It's nice to know up front. But I will probably die on this hill, and it's really just, dude, you can't get to know a person, right, with just like the surface level stuff. It's the deeper stuff, right? That is the stuff that, unfortunately, it does come with time, right? You have to invest to get out of it what you want, right? Because, like, if you're not depositing stuff into the relationship, then how can you extract things that make you happy out of the relationship, right? So, like, you have to be willing to, like, I'm gonna say it again, compromise. You have to be willing to balance all of those things. So I feel your frustrations, and I also feel like your points, like, because there's a lot of that happening now, like a lot. People don't want to give grace for the things that they don't want, i.e. I don't like this, but they're also not willing to look at their own garbage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right?
That's huge.
A lot of people.
That's huge.
Okay, so that's right there. What you just said.
That's
it's
huge.
that.
Cheers.
It's very easy to say, I don't like this about you. I don't like that about. Oh, you have what? Blah blah blah. Cool. Then now it's your turn.
Yeah.
And you start hearing, you don't like, oh shit, you don't like that. Oh damn, you know, because now all your good shit is out the door. Now you're like, oh fuck, I did. But that's what I'm trying to say is that you, everybody's gonna have the bad shit.
Yeah.
You're gonna have some shit that be like, yo, I don't like this about you. That's when you start saying this, like, yo, this is a perfect person. With that perfect person is gonna have bad things. Those bad things are gonna be there, but if you let those bad things get to the point where they're really gonna mess with your mind, then I get it. Don't get involved with that at all.
Right.
You know yourself.
Yes.
You know that. But if you know, hey, oh, this person is, again, we're going through the extreme. I'm Christian, I'm Muslim, but if I'm okay with it and that person's okay with it, stop letting society dictate your happiness.
Yeah.
Like, that shouldn't be an issue anymore. You're okay with it, she's okay with it, period. That's it.
Based on what you said of like, take a look at everything as a whole, like the good and the bad. If a lot of people don't know, I'm going through a divorce. So when we were in counseling, this is a little inside baseball. The therapist was like, write down a list for yourself. Like, don't share with her or whatever. Write down a list of pros and cons. Because there was a point where like I was like, should I continue? Should I stop? I was just unsure. But I wrote down a list of the good and the bad. Surprisingly, one of the goods that is hard to let go when you date someone long is inside jokes. A lot of people don't know that.
That's good.
But
Wow, yeah.
I wrote down a list, and ultimately that helped me come to my decision. One thing a lot of people don't realize, right now dating sucks. I don't know about you. Dating, like, not to the point that like I can't find it. Like I go on dates, but just these women out here are just. But one thing that I realize is people change over time.
Yes.
So where you can date someone, you vibe and everything, but the first 2 years is technically still the honeymoon stage.
Sure.
The 3 to 5 year is kind of like, okay, we got our traction. We're looking good.
Some momentum.
That's like 3 to 6. The like from 6 to 9 is kind of like you really know the person. Is kind of like, do I like this or not?
Yeah.
So it's crazy, but you have to also know how to. You have to understand, like, people are not going to be the same forever.
Of course not.
And people grow, and you have to grow as well, and you constantly have to learn your partner again.
I think it's just so naive.
Like you mentioned what you mentioned, off the film, that people change.
Yeah.
Like the your wife is not the same today that she was when you first met her.
Neither am I. Right. And I really don't know how much of a mind-blowing statement that is, right? But it feels like relationships today, and correct me if I'm wrong, the stigma is we're dating and then we're going to be happily ever after. You're going to be the same, I'm going to be the same, nothing's ever going to change, we're going to be the best. Like, I just find it so unrealistic for people to go into a relationship and not expect everything to change, because we are constantly changing. Our cells in our body are constantly changing. Our mind, as long as you continue learning stuff, you're going to keep growing, right? Yep. If you want to be a boring ass person who doesn't want to learn anything new, then sure, congratulations on your happy marriage. That is the same always. That's whack.
I'm realizing now that I'm in the dating scene, and the reason I say it's trash, a lot of women don't have positive role models. So their role models are the likes of whoever's big in pop culture. When you look at like old marriages and relationships, like in the 60s, people just put up with stuff. Like,
Yes.
and I'm not saying that's what you need to do, but people take stuff for face value. Like, oh, my grandparents were together for 65 years, but they don't tell you all the crap that was slid under the rug. So they'll take 65 years and take it for face value. Like, oh, I want to be married for 65 years, but they're listening to like advice from like Black China or like, you know, whoever's.
Oh my God, dude.
And when I say like, when I say like a lot of, I don't want to say a lot, but just people don't have positive role models and like people that can speak into them and be like, you're going about this all wrong. You know, whether it be therapy, that could be a great way, or it's just someone that knows and has experience with life and be like, this is a fairy tale. Like get it together.
You need to rearrange your expectations completely. You got it all wrong.
And we're realizing now in this day and age, like I hear so many stories of like my grandparents were together for 65 years, but we just found out 65 years later that he has a whole nother family a state away.
Yeah.
You could get away with that 65 years ago because there wasn't no internet. So it's like you have to like take all the new information and like be realistic. Be realistic. People are gonna change. You have to also like be able to sit down and like take all the information in and move forward with that. Because you change, they change, society changes, and you just have to be on your toes. Dating still sucks.
Man, cheers to you guys, man. I only dabbled in that scene very briefly between marriages. We're not going to talk about that now because it's way too late. But what I will say is this. To all the folks out there currently going through or have experienced the stuff that we've been talking about, like, you know, you have brothers in arms here who can relate to the struggle and the challenges, man, because like for as many issues that men deal with, obviously women deal with a whole separate layer of issues. And I get mad at the stereotypes on both ends. Like I get mad at like, well, I'm not going to name anything, but
go ahead, name it.
It's just
let it out.
Stop it, Shannon. You're baiting me.
Let God use you.
There, in terms of male female challenges, like they're always going to exist, and I think what we collectively can do, right, to kind of contribute to the solution, right, is to continue to have conversations and try to understand the, you know, other's point of view, right? Because for as many things as I might call out to our earlier point, Xander, I might see all these certain things wrong with you, but like you're gonna sit there and point out all these things wrong with me that are like invisible to me. You know what I mean? And the truth is somewhere in the middle there. So it's hard, man. I think everybody is just longing and striving for a connection, but like in a meaningful way and not in a way that's going to make you compromise who you are as a person. And that's hard, man, because people have all these ridiculous expectations. Throw that shit away, man. Expectations going to be like ruin you. They ruin you, man. Cause like if I am expecting you to be a certain type of way, you cannot win.
Yep.
You can't win. What the fuck is that person going to do? Like that, like get a little real here, you guys. But like, I'm gonna give you an analogy. This is what I felt personally. Imagine you're wearing glasses and the glasses have a cutout of the shape of a human being, and the shape of the human being on your glasses is the perfect person. And you're looking for your partner and they don't fit that perfect silhouette. You're just out of frame. You're too fat. You're too slim. Like, but like metaphorically, all the other things, right? That's what I felt previously. I felt like nothing I did was up to par with the standard that I was trying to meet, right? And so I feel that from like society at large now with the Tinder thing that I mentioned earlier. Here's a Tinder post. Here's all the stuff that I don't want. Kind of ridiculous. It's kind of unfair. It's kind of unfair. What if all the stuff you don't want is exactly like this guy's just like, but I'll love you for the rest of your life. Like for real, not just like simping, but like I will actually take care of you. You know what I mean? But you're 5'4". I can't.
And I've actually, as a short person, not that short, but I've come across that women have, if you're not 6 foot and over, I can't talk to you. Now, I've heard this a lot. And I've heard this a lot from a lot of single women, which is kind of funny to me because you right there are excluding yourself from a part of men, if I want to call it that,
Sure.
A section of men, if you want to call that you have no idea if you can find your happiness.
I'm gonna tell you this, man. Don't listen to that.
Oh, no. Trust me. I've actually, me personally, I don't know why, but I've been attracted to taller women. And it's not because they don't like shorter men. It's just everybody has a go so like, I kind of like, okay. You have something that you like, whatever that is.
Yeah.
So
I'll say this, man. Don't listen to that because I've seen, again, in my experience, from just being observant, a lot of these women say stuff, the ones that are boisterous about situations, they say all these things, but look at their baby daddy. Something don't add up.
Oh, why do women love toxic men?
So,
Oh my God,
when I say
dude.
don't listen to that,
Oh my God. I'm sorry, Shannon. I'm sorry.
as
I'm sorry.
a larger man myself, people can say that big guys don't date women, hot women. That's a lie. That's a lie. Women say one thing, but I've understand that a lot of women don't even understand themselves. Like, I've heard so many women be like, I'm so annoying. Like, I've heard them say that they're annoyed with themselves. So it's like, how do you expect us men to understand? So I take all that to the trash. Straight conversation. Like, at the end of the day, women want to have a good time. They want to feel appreciated, validated, protected, whatever. Just spit your game, bro. That's it. And have ultimate confidence.
Ultimate confidence.
Because over everything, it works.
Top tier.
Which is wild. And maybe that can be the toxic side of me.
It's confidence is an attractive trait, both male and female. So like a confident woman is attractive because she's confident. She doesn't even have to be a 10. But like if she's confident,
Some men are intimidated by that though.
Well, right. That's a whole separate issue.
So all that to say, people have their lists, but talk your talk. Talk your talk, man. Just be in there.
Oh no! Just to be clear,
Be in there.
I talk that.
the tall
talk,
ones,
you know what I'm saying?
the tall
I'm
ones
talking.
are there, and I have dabbled, and I even surprised myself to find out that they're game. And like you said, it's once
It's all cap. All this say is all cap.
Yeah, once you get rid of the what is she gonna think about me because I'm short or whatever that barrier is, once you get rid of it, she'll get rid of it too.
It's all their own barriers to protect themselves
That's what
against
I'm saying.
whatever. It's all cap.
Yeah, just
Y'all women be capping.
I don't mind looking up a little bit. Like, come in, girl. Take it to Pound Town. You know.
All right, guys. I think it's time to wrap this little ditty up. Thank you, as always, guys, for jamming on the couch, on the chairs.
Yes, sir.
Shannon O, thank you so much for the studio space. We appreciate it. 413 Zone Full Frame Media. Thank you so much, Shannon.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Also, big shout out to Soul Cosm, the proprietor of the fantastic art that you see on the walls here.
Shout out Soulcast.
Soul Cosm, be linked in the comments. Feel free to check out his Instagram. It'll be linked right here. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do so. We really appreciate the support. And as always, don't forget to tell your mom about us.
Yeah.
We love mothers.
Here, y'all.